Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our second Wisdom Wednesday of 2025. We have quite a few things to share with you, in large part due to our diversify initiative. And that's going to come into play in many different aspects, not just the type of plans that you are selling. So as you can see, I'm kind of ready just to get rolling today. These are recorded, so if you miss the front part of this presentation, you are able to go to our YouTube channel and catch up on anything that you may have missed from National Contracting Center. Joining us today is my faithful Wisdom Wednesday buddy, Brandon. And we also have Miss Megan Van Berkleo with us, who's going to go over everything social media with you guys so that you can diversify the way that you're marketing and make social media work for you. It can be a very cost effective way to add to your marketing. And Megan will tell you more about that. First thing that we want to go over are some of the enrollment changes moving in to 2025. Some SEPs are leaving us, and the two biggest ones are going to be the DSNP elections. So last year they were able to make quarterly elections in Q1, 2, and 3. And then, of course, Q4 is AEP. This year they only have AEP and OEP to make changes unless they have a status change. So maybe they go up or down in their assistance level. Maybe they're a brand new approval, or maybe they are somebody who is no longer able to receive any type of subsidy. All those are reasons in which a DSNP would be able to use an SEP. But if they're at the same level, there's no status change, they can no longer change throughout the year. There are some exceptions into fully integrated plans. And you'll see a webinar about that from us here coming up in the next week or so. It's a very detailed process. We don't want to miss any of the little idiosyncrasies behind that. But that is something that's available in about a dozen states that have fully integrated um, MCO plans. So we'll talk more about that at a later date. Also, our disaster election period, those are no longer available for an independent agent to use to help their clients. If a client is affected by a disaster and they have missed an election due to that, they will have to do their enrollments through Medicare.gov. That takes place on March 31st. So after March 31st, that DST election period is no longer able to be used by independent insurance agents. That's been a big one for us throughout the last few years, just as we seem to have more natural disasters. The election periods have been used more and more often, and now we're not going to be able to use those. But what we are going to be able to use are chronic SEPs, people who are changing addresses, and people who are losing coverage. Maybe they're coming off of group coverage or some other version of credible coverage is going away. Those are our next three most used SEPs. And the chronic SEP, it's very interesting because sometimes people have multiple chronic conditions. If you have multiple chronic conditions, you have multiple chronic SEPs, assuming there is a plan for your specific chronic condition. So let's say you have heart issues and you're a diabetic. Those are two separate election periods. So let's say you use in April your heart condition as a reason to get on a heart Medicare Advantage plan. That's one election. Maybe you don't like that plan and you hear of a diabetic plan in your area. You change to that plan in July. That's a second SEP for a completely different chronic condition. And that is something that you're able to do. So please do some fact finding. This is where those needs assessments are really going to come into play to make sure that you're taking, very detailed notes, especially about your chronic clients, to make sure that if they do need to change, you are able to help them. And tracking which chronic condition you use is going to be part of that. Chronic plans are you're probably going to see those kind of take over what the dual plan space used to be throughout the year, for yearly enrollments. They will meet a lot of that same population. So if you have somebody who is dual eligible and they want to switch to a chronic plan, they fit one of the conditions, you can do that. You can move them from a D-SNP plan to a chronic plan. There may be some cost sharing differences in those plans. You'll want to make sure that you educate them appropriately. But that is something that you would be able to do. That does not rely on a status change or a new approval or loss of subsidy. Any questions in regards to the enrollment changes?
On the chronics, does the insurance company contact the physician, or do they contact the beneficiary and require the beneficiary to get the doctor to sign the form?
So great question. And they usually contact the beneficiary to get the beneficiary to either have the doctor sign the form and send it back in, or in a lot of cases, they have a special 800 number set up just so doctors can call. That is the quickest, most efficient way to get those conditions verified.
So if they're out of country and miss that verification, they will get notified that they have a loss of coverage and they've got 60 days to get a new plan that is not a chronic, correct?
That is correct, or have that form filled out, ask for an extension due to an extenuating circumstance if they're not in country at that time.
There's a form for that?
You can ask for the extension by reaching out to the carrier, and then
Okay.
that same form would be in play.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And excuse me, this is Torella. So would the form be sent to the primary doctor or to the member, or who would the
Yep.
form be sent to for the extension?
So if there is an extension needed, if for some reason that person was not able to get their form filled out because they were out of the country, maybe they were hospitalized or something like that, you want to call the carrier with that client to ask for the extension. Once that's granted, then that form, that same chronic verification form that was sent to them originally, is what needs sent to the client originally, just so I'm clear on that, needs to be filled out by the doctor, and they can send it back in, or the doctor can just call the 800 number and verify the chronic condition over the phone instead of having to fax in a form.
Now, would they be disenrolled from their current plan if this information is not completed within the time frame?
Yes, so if you would enroll them into a chronic plan, let's say they're a diabetic, you enroll them into a diabetic chronic special needs plan that's supposed to be effective on 2/1. That plan goes into effect. The client receives their verification form, takes it to their doctor. They have 60 days in which to get that filled out. After that time period is up, the member can be disenrolled if that form is not completed and there's no extenuating circumstances behind it.
But they are sent a termination letter 15 days before that termination?
They have to, yes.
So that's what I'm saying. So if in the event that that does happen, if they're disenrolled from this plan, are they allowed to enroll in another plan or go
Yes, ma'am.
without coverage? Okay.
They would, because it would be a loss of coverage
Okay.
situation and they would have an SEP to go into a different plan.
Okay. Great.
So Courtney, what I'd say, anybody that we sign up for a chronic, in AEP, if it's not completed by February 28th, they will be disenrolled and they'll have a loss of coverage. So you want to contact them in the next 10 days. There is a report for Humana and United Health, I know, because they've been telling me about my delinquent clients.
Yes. So every carrier will offer a report. You'll be able to see this within your enrollment portals as to who needs those forms filled out to make sure that they are still able to stay in those plans.
Okay, thank you.
Brandon, if you want to go forward. This is our push right here. Diversify, diversify, diversify. And again, it's not just about adding new products. It's about really kind of getting outside of your comfort zone to ensure that you're able to A, get in front of as many clients as possible and help as many people as possible, and B, really protect your income. Last year, we had some scary moments around some of the marketing dollars and everything that a lot of people rely on in order to be able to promote their business. Having a very diversified book of business really shores up that income stream. Um, you don't have to add all the products all at once. As a matter of fact, I would probably tell you not to add all the products at once. But if you want to start with like a hospital indemnity plan, pick one carrier, a GTL or a Willoughby, even a Manhattan, and get to know the ins and the outs of their plans. Enroll a handful or a dozen or so clients, and then you're really comfortable with that one plan. And you also know what holes you need, like why people are telling you no, what is their underwriting needs, and you can pick up another plan based on that. And we can help you find plans to cover the holes for the plans that you're already offering. Um, Once you kind of get adjusted to one hospital indemnity plan or one cancer plan, or even one life carrier, it's so simple to add more. Just like when you first got started with Medicare or ACA, learning one carrier was very daunting. Learning 10 carriers seemed almost impossible. And now you guys are experts, or you're getting to be experts. Same thing with the ancillary products, with the life products, with dental plans. Don't expect yourself to be an expert right off the bat. Join us on some of our webinars. We're doing a diversity university every Tuesday at 12 p.m. We have carriers who are coming in to really get into the nitty-gritty of their policy. We had Physicians Mutual join us yesterday with their innovative Plan G and their dental plans. She did a great job getting into the nitty-gritty of those plans and how to position them well for your clients. Americo will be on Tuesday, I believe it's the 25th. And they're going to go over all of their life products, including what is a decreasing term and how that can be used in mortgage protection for your ACA clients, and their Eagle Series final expense plans. So they'll get into the nitty-gritty of that. These type of learning opportunities are going to help you get adjusted to adding carriers one by one and really getting to know that ancillary market. As we suggested when you were first starting into the Medicare business, start with what you know. In this case, use your existing clients. We might have started out into Medicare kind of using our family as guinea pigs. I know I personally did. You can do that again with ancillary plans. My family has always been my biggest critic, but they have helped me grow immensely and learn things and really kind of tailor my sales approach because they were asking tons of questions because they were comfortable with their salesperson. So feel free to use the resources that are at your fingertips, whether it's your existing clients, your family, etc. These are great products to use in your 30, 60, 90-day follow-ups just for retention on Medicare Advantage or ACA plans. So if you're asking them about new plans, if you're sending them letters, emails, social media posts, all are great ways to break in to the ancillary market and diversify your book of business.
You
Along with
you
social
said
media. I'm sorry, David, go ahead.
yeah, you said you have meetings on Tuesdays for diversity by bringing in the product experts.
Yes.
Do you guys have a plan to have agents talk about how they diversified um, their portfolio by either adding that hospitalization indemnity, cancer, or ACA? Have y'all thought about having somebody that was selling zero and has grown leaps and bounds over the last year or two? What clicked, and how did they successfully market? And I think that would be more important to me than hearing about the products, because the products aren't too complicated, but um, knowing those sales points and knowing how you got in front of your clients when you have 100, 200 clients, what they do? Just start making phone calls? Did they send emails? And I'm sure they did a little of both, but they would have boots on the ground knowledge of what allowed them to start being successful in those ancillary products.
Yeah, so we did that a few times last year. I would be happy to set it up again this year. That stuff typically happens on our town halls in Wisdom Wednesdays, where we do the agent testimonials, if you will.
Okay,
But we can definitely get some of those set up and make you aware as to, who will be speaking and about what during a Wisdom Wednesday or a town hall.
perfect.
Partner with local businesses. This is probably also another good place to have an agent guest speaker come on. We do have some people who this is 100% their bread and butter. They're getting referrals from local businesses. They're working. Um, Really, we have people that work nothing other than church events. And that has worked very well for them. So just kind of getting out there and adding one thing that you're not used to. That's really the whole point in this diversification push. Just add something that you're not used to on a consistent basis. By the end of the year or next year, you're going to notice a huge, huge difference. And at this point, I am going to turn it over to Miss Megan. She's going to go through everything social media. I'm going to sit here and learn myself because I know nothing about it. And please ask her all the questions that you guys have. She is a wealth of knowledge. So, Miss Megan, it is over to you.
Thank you, Courtney. Hi, everyone. I am excited to be here today to talk to you about something that I believe can truly transform the way that you connect with your clients and grow your business, which is social media. I know social media as a whole can often feel very overwhelming. And, you might be thinking, do I really need to post all the time? How do I know if I'm doing it right? Is it really worth it? I promise you it is worth it. And today I'm going to kind of talk about how to make it work for you and for your business without it feeling like a burden on your life. So, why social media really matters for insurance agents. We'll start with this. Social media is absolutely not just for big brands, not just for, high schoolers or social media influencers. It is a very powerful tool that small businesses use every day to grow their brands. So, some of the most important key parts and why it really does matter is it will build your credibility. It will allow you to position yourself as an expert in all things insurance, whether that be Medicare, ACA, life. It will really help you stay top of mind with current and potential clients. So they're always seeing your name pop up. They're seeing your business pop up, your brand. And it's really keeping you there at the top of their mind. It will allow you to educate, answer questions, because it allows for very easy and open communication, and it allows for really easy education, right? I mean, Medicare can be confusing for a lot of people. So, social media offers a platform to educate in a really simplified manner that is easy for people to digest. And ultimately, and the a really big takeaway for social media is it helps generate referrals, and create those long-term relationships. So it's very easy to share posts, to like and follow on multiple platforms. Generating referrals is so key. It's very huge, and social media makes that very easy. So it's cost effective, it's low effort, and it's a high impact way to grow your business. Now, when thinking about social media as a whole, of course, you see YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Nextdoor, Instagram. There's all of these platforms, and it can be a little bit confusing, definitely overwhelming if you're looking at them as a whole. It's really important to pick a platform and focus on a platform. A lot of agents think that they need to be on every single platform. You don't. You just need to be where your audience is. Facebook, for instance. If you're in Medicare, Facebook truly is your gold mine. Your clients are on Facebook. They're engaging with local groups, they're following pages. This is a perfect place to build relationships, to run targeted ads, and to answer questions. Facebook is definitely where the older community is, and that's going to be a sweet spot for social media purposes. And now, LinkedIn, that is going to be where you establish yourself as an expert, right? It's a platform for networking, for sharing educational content, and connecting with industry professionals. So you might not really find a lot of your clientele on LinkedIn, but it still is a really great networking tool, to connect with others in the industry. Instagram, this is where you are more likely to find your ACA or life clients. It's highly visual. It's a perfect for like behind the scenes content, success stories, and connecting with people on a more personal level. It's definitely going to be a little bit more about you, about building those relationships. Again, that just really highlights how important it is to know which platform to target because of what clients are most utilizing which platform, right? With YouTube, we see a lot of success with YouTube. If you want to build an audience based on educating clients, YouTube is where people go to learn. They go to watch videos, to learn things. So simple videos like Medicare 101, how you can set yourself apart as a trusted resource, for knowledge and education. And if that's something that you are currently doing or something that you're interested in doing as far as education goes, YouTube is absolutely the right platform to really establish yourself on. But you can again, you want to make sure that you're not spreading yourself too thin. So start with one platform. If you're not currently on a platform, pick one, master it, and then you can grow from there. Because if you try to juggle multiple platforms too quickly, or too early on, it will feel overwhelming and then it won't be successful for you. So pick your platform and really master it. Create those groups, be consistent. Consistency is so much more important than being on every single platform. It's so much more important to focus on a singular platform and just be really consistent on that platform. Then eventually you can expand into delegating some of your tasks. You can use scheduling tools. You can batch create your content ahead of time so that you can set aside, a day of the week or a day of the month where you create content that you want to push out there, schedule it for the week or schedule it for the month, and then you don't have to worry about it until the next week or the next month comes around. And then that way you have a constant presence, but it's not bogging you down and it's not, weighing on you as a daily task. You should be posting about 3 to 5 times a week. Now, that does depend on the platform. Every platform's a little bit different, but it is important to mix up your content. Make sure you're posting educational posts, helping your audience understand little tidbits and little facts about Medicare or ACA or life, along with client success stories. Social proof is very, very powerful. So show how you've helped real people. Industry updates. If something changes, social media is a really great place to share those updates, to share those changes. And that way your audience is hearing it from you first. And they see you as the resource, as the source of that information in those updates. You can also share your personal insights. People connecting with people, not a business. Share a little bit about your story, a little bit about your personal life, so that they see you as a person and they start to build that relationship with you. Just because you're sharing a little bit of your life. That's huge, bringing in that human factor, And then also calls to action are very important. You're kind of guiding your clients or potential clients on what to do next. Book a time with me, visit my website, give me a call. Things like that, giving them a call to action, a next step that they can take on their journey, whatever that may be. What step should they take next? All of those things. I mean, there's plenty of material out there. You're never going to be short on information or on content that you can be sharing because there's so much out there. Now, there are some tools, like I mentioned earlier, that can make it a little bit easier when posting on social media. It can feel like it's a lot, like it will take a lot of time. But like I mentioned, if you're scheduling things out ahead of time, it doesn't have to be all that. You can set aside one day where that is something that you focus on and that's something that you get set up. Whether you're using Facebook Business Suite, which helps you schedule posts and manage your messages all in one place. You can use Canva for designing purposes if you want to make some professional looking graphics very easily. They have pre-made templates, they have pre-made graphics that make it very easy. There are scheduling tools like Hootsuite or Buffer that allow you to schedule posts ahead of time on multiple platforms. And then there are websites like Pixabay or Unsplash, which offer free high quality images so that you can keep your social media posts looking very professional. And don't overlook Facebook groups as a tool as well. Facebook groups and joining Facebook groups is so amazing for creating real engagement and trust with your audience. If you're engaging with your local community, with local groups, and just commenting on posts, interacting with people, it doesn't have to be salesy. It's just about building that rapport. Again, being that source of knowledge, of updates, of education. If there's changes going on, or anything like that, make a post in a group, encourage people to seek education. Now, a big part of how to navigate social media, how to make social media work for you, is what not to do on social media. Like I said, you don't want to be salesy, so don't just post sales pitches, right? Social media it's really not about selling. It's really about building relationships. So focusing on education, focusing on engagement, and building value. Don't ignore comments or messages. If people are reaching out to you or commenting, whatever it is, make sure you're interacting with their comments. Make sure you're interacting with their messages. Social media is the start of a conversation. It's not a monologue, right? So respond, engage, build those relationships, build that rapport. And make sure, you don't necessarily have to post the same content on every platform because your audience is different on every platform. So if you do end up utilizing more than one platform, they have different audiences, they have different styles. Make sure you're customizing your approach and make sure you're consistent. So don't be inconsistent. If you disappear for weeks and then suddenly you get on and you post 3 or 4 times in a row, that's going to be a little bit confusing. So try to make sure that you're consistent. If you want to get on and post on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever schedule works for you, but just make sure it's consistent so that there is a steady flow that they're hearing from you. And again, whatever that may be, I mean, that could even be a life update, what's going on in your life, what you're doing, and what you're working on.
Is there,
Yeah.
so you mentioned multiple times in a week, and there are also specific times of the day that you can post. Are there, so being consistent can be doing it, starting it slow by once a week to once a month and posting on a specific day or and a specific time, or are there specific guidance to that level?
There's different research and it varies by platform. There are tools that you can use, like Buffer, for instance, is a platform that helps with scheduling social media posts. And there's other similar platforms like Buffer, where they will tell you what the prime day and time for posting to get the most interaction is, and that could be Thursday at 9 a.m., and it does vary, but there are tools that are out there that can help guide you in that way. There's research and studies that have been done. I mean, you can even Google that kind of information. That kind of data is out there. What's the most ideal time, day and time to post on, Facebook, to post on Instagram, to post on YouTube. And it's going to be different for every platform because they have very different audiences, that are on and that are active at different times of the week and different times of the day.
Thanks.
Kind of just bringing that all together, at the end of the day, social media should work for you, not the other way around. It shouldn't feel like such a chore. This should be something that is exciting to engage with people, to build that client base, to build those referrals, to catch people's attention. So start with one platform, grow from there, post consistently, and whatever works for you, until you get really comfortable with it. Use tools, streamline your efforts, and focus on engaging with people, building trust, not just sales. Don't just view it as a sales tool, but view it as a relationship tool. NCC, we are a huge resource for this. We have a Facebook toolkit. We have an online presence guide that can walk you through best practices. If you're unsure where to start or if you need help, reach out. so many of our team members can direct you to the right guides and to the right place. We are able to discuss those strategies with you to help make social media work for you.
Well,
All right.
Megan, I appreciate you giving us your time and expertise in social media. I think the one thing that's glaringly clear is, throughout all of our efforts to diversify is start slow, start small. Don't try to overcomplicate things. We're good at doing that all by ourselves anyways. But do things that are realistic. If you add 4 or 5 carriers, your chances of offering one of them are very slim. But if you pick up one or you add one social media platform, your chances of using it skyrocket. And then as you get comfortable with that, you can add more and more as you go. I do have to give a quick plug to Retire Flow. They have a really cool, really free product called Splash that will allow you to capture client reviews that will hook straight up to all of your social media platforms. And it's kind of like Yelp for the insurance agent. So people can get on there, they can see what your current clients are saying about you. It helps you build your credibility, and it is a feature that Retire Flow offers for free. You do not have to be a client of theirs on their survey, where you can capture the client's drugs and doctors, along with the scope of appointment. You do not have to have any other dealings with Retire Flow, but you are still able to use their Splash product to capture client reviews, and build your credibility on social media with those current clients and the reviews that they are giving you. So I personally think that's a great tool. We've all been on Yelp when we're making reservations or travel plans. This is going to end up being very similar to that, but it will allow you to build some almost instant credibility as you start your social media posts and allow social media to work with you. One quick correction I need to make on something that I said. The chronic verification forms, a carrier can start to can start the termination process of your product if that form is not turned in within 30 days. I heard myself say 60. At the time, I couldn't correct it. I'm in my own brain today. But I did want to make sure that I made that correction before we got off of here. It's a 30-day period, not a 60-day period, before a carrier can notify a client of that plan being terminated. So please keep that in mind. And if you have any questions, give us a buzz. I do want to say thank you so much for your participation today. That's what these calls are all about. We want to make sure that we're answering as many of your questions as possible, getting the information that makes the most sense to you. So, David, your asked to have some agent testimonials is fantastic and definitely something we can do more of again this year. And Ms. Herbert, thank you so much for chiming in as well. We really do appreciate that type of candor. Does anybody have anything that you'd like to share? Anything that you're concerned about or a success that you're having that you think other people might benefit from?
Question on the social media there. So we're putting stuff out in social media world, or the big sea that exists there that's like the ocean, and we're just the little minnow that we hope that our bigger fish that we're trying to have us bite us and take our bait, essentially. Is there a strategy or a better strategy to going in and doing text and email campaigns to our current clients and pointing them to our social media, so you have a kind of two ways to getting to what you're posting? So you made a post. Now that you did that post, you're sending out an email to all your clients to go look at it either via text or via email. So now you have a broader potential click of information. Have people found success in doing that?
Megan, I gotta defer that one to you because he said social media, and that is not my area of expertise. So, Megan or Brandon, if you want to grab that question, that would be great.
I have heard of agents that do multiple sends like you're talking about there, David, where you make a post and then in an email send something out. The best thing that I've seen agents do is they put their social media icons, so they link it in their email signature, so that as they're going out, they're getting your beneficiaries are getting that in their emails if they're reading them. But then also the consistency on just the posting alone. What happens is the more you do that, the algorithm, that's a big word in social media, right? The algorithm, it'll push more out. And so to your point, I think where you were heading with this is if you can get more clicks on that, more people will see. And so, by sending that out, if you're doing a weekly newsletter or a monthly newsletter, you can send a recap of, say, posts. I know we at National Contracting Center send out an email once a month that's a recap of everything that we've done. And a lot of that is pointing to our blog, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, that type of thing. So yeah, you can do that. To Megan's point earlier, anything you can do that can streamline that to make it where you're not having to focus on it all the time. So some of those tools that she was mentioning, the Hootsuite or the Buffer, you can set that up to where it can actually integrate with other platforms that you have and send out those messages for you as a recap of, here's what you missed on David's Facebook this week or something like that.
Right. Okay.
And I have a quick question about Facebook. Is there any like step-by-step information available to create Facebook? Because I know every time I try to create it, and as soon as within the next couple minutes, I receive all type of information that's not related to insurance.
Yeah, we do have a Facebook toolkit available, and that's also something that we can review if you were interested in creating like a business page or a group of some sort where you could invite, locals in your community to join your Facebook group or like your business page.
Okay. Thank you.
And I would say that Facebook toolkit that she mentioned, that is a step-by-step guide on setting up a business page. And I think that's one thing I know I tend to make sure this is said, and I don't know if Megan said it earlier or not, but when you're posting, you want to be posting from your business rather than personal. You can have both, but for your business, you want to make sure that's set apart. And that Facebook toolkit does go step by step in setting up and how to post and when to schedule and that type of stuff. If you want to get deeper into that, I think reaching out to your sales development manager, they can get more information for you to get specific on exactly what you're looking for out of your social media, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Thank you.
hmm One last thing I'll say, Courtney, before we wrap it up. You mentioned Retire Flow and their Splash. I think it's a fantastic tool. If anybody's looking to find more information on that, I'm going to use a social media plug here. Check us out on our YouTube channel. You can like and subscribe, and then that way turn on that notification bell, and that way you're notified anytime we upload new content. But there is a video out there that Retire Flow did, and they go all through what the splash is, how it works. There's screenshots of what it does. There's examples of how you can use it to get your customer surveys, but also get customer reviews, and then how you can use Splash to post that on your social media. It's all in that video on NCC's YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube, it's at NCC Agent. That's our channel. Just shameless plug there.
Love it. Those are the little plugs that we all need. go a long way. Remember, you are your own walking billboard. So the more that you talk about what you do, how you've been able to help your clients, the better off the people around you are. So we really appreciate your time. Again, your participation was amazing today. Thank you so much for coming off mute and speaking up. It made our little webinar here a lot more interesting and hopefully a lot more informative to yourselves as well. So we appreciate all feedback, questions, and participations. More than everything, we appreciate your hard work. We know you guys are out there doing this every day. It's not an easy job. We are here to support you in any way that we can. Please give any member of our staff a call, email, even a text message, and we will make sure that you get everything that you need. Hope you have a fantastic Wednesday and rest of your week, and we will talk to you soon.